Hello everyone, Will the Outlaw here, and today we're going to be taking a look at Transformers Studio Series 86 Devastator. The Studio Series 86 line has been on a real roll lately with releases like Optimus Prime and Megatron, but now they're going all in with a brand new Devastator and dealing with it by releasing the team in separate size classes. Bone Crusher and Scavenger are Deluxes, Scrapper and Mixmaster are Voyagers, and Long Haul and Hook are packed together in a Commander class price 2-pack. The previous version of Devastator, which came in the Combiner Wars line, was a Titan class release in which all the team members were around Voyager size, and while really cool for the time, was compromised by the price point and the limitations of the budget being spread across all the figures. By releasing the set across all different size classes, they were able to focus more on the individual bots. I will say right now, while they share a lot of engineering with the previous version, this new release has made a lot of much needed improvements. Taking a look at the figures themselves, and they look amazing as one cohesive team. They all have a matching green color scheme that appears to be uniform and constant throughout all the figures. The Studio Series Toon aesthetic looks really good on these guys and rank as some of the best looking of the Studio Series line. I think the best way to talk about these guys will be to go down the line by class. So let's start with the Deluxes, Scavenger and Bone Crusher. Bone Crusher was the first Deluxe released and is the left arm of Devastator. If this was your first introduction to these Constructicons, boy, I feel sorry for you. His figure is not very good. I mean, he's practically 60% torso. It looks like a pudgy kid wearing a green leotard. He only comes with his gun, and while he has all the necessary articulation, it's kind of hard to get him in any pose that makes him look anything but awkward. Transforming him is very reminiscent of his G1 self, but with a little more steps thrown in. It boggles my mind that all the joints involved in the transformation is practically useless in robot mode, but there are ways around that unfortunately involves customizing the figure. Either way, the bulldozer mode is fine. There are no wheels, but the shovel can move up and down. Scavenger does a bit better with what he's got, with a lot more color thrown into the design. The purple on his tread legs and lower torso would be helped by some differing color of its own, but most of the paint is placed on the torso and it looks really good. I am a little confused as to why the fists are painted and not just cast in green plastic. Transformation is about the same level of complexity as Bone Crusher, but just a little more on the fun side. The power shovel mode is definitely an improvement, and the shovel, being a separate piece attached via a 5mm port, is articulated with a swivel and 2 hinge joints, allowing for a wide range of poses. I especially appreciate the hidden detail within the grooves of the arm here. So very cool. Moving on to the Voyagers and Scrapper here, Devastator's right leg was very controversial when it was released. It's more or less the same size as the Deluxe is, but it comes with Devastator's gun. His color scheme is a lot more diverse, with the purples, silvers, and greens looking way better on him than the previous ones. I especially love the fact that they kept his top hat head, even though his transformation doesn't need it. Scrapper's transformation remains pretty much unchanged from the Combiner Wars version, with the only real difference being the elbows bend to better integrate into the vehicle mode. The bulldozer mode we get is pretty standard. It doesn't really do anything special other than feel incredibly solid. It also rolls really well too. The final Constructicon I got, and arguably the most anticipated member of the team, Mixmaster, is probably my favorite. That could probably be the recency bias talking, but I honestly can't help but like this figure. His color scheme is somewhat bland, with his torso being one color and his limbs being another, but it feels the most solid out of the rest of the team. He is also by far the most improved from his Combiner Wars version, and it's not even close. Look, I didn't hate the backwards cement mixer, but it just never made any sense to me why they decided to go that route. Either way, I'm happy to say this is the definitive right leg of Devastator. Transformation on this guy is fun. It's simple, but the transformation step with the mixing barrel just makes me so happy for some reason. The cement mixer truck is awesome. It's filled with molded detail, and it feels nice and heavy in your hands. The only weak spot, unfortunately, is the mixing drum. It just seems a little too small for the truck, but that's understandable due to the logistics of the figure, I guess. The final two members of the Constructicons, Long Haul and Hook, came in a Commander class price 2-pack. Hook is probably my least favorite member, and he makes up Devastator's top torso. He's tall, he's lanky, his proportions make him look like a total poser, but his hook is removable and he can use it as a weapon. That's so cool! 10 out of 10. Perfect toy! Transformation is as simple as condensing his limbs into his torso. I mean, his fists don't even flip in. The upside to this is that all the joints feel tight and solid. His crane mode is fine. It does what it needs to do, and they even had room in the budget to give the boom the ability to extend. That far. And only that far. Long Haul is the big boy of the group, and he has to be if he's going to be the lower torso of Devastator. Now, while I appreciate the animated bulkhead proportions that the Combiner Wars had, this is what Long Haul should look like. He is monotone like the others, but his proportions and overall size give him a presence that just makes him more intimidating than the other members of the team. Long Haul's transformation is pretty good, and it does some really clever things to change the shape of the arms in order to fit in the vehicle mode. There is even some really nice detail here that's in a place that's only visible during transformation. The dump truck mode is good. It's big, bulky, and rolls around nicely. The back bucket doesn't move, but that's never really been possible with most Long Haul figures. The accessories that the set comes with has one of the most clever integrations I have ever seen with the figures that they come with. I don't know what this thing is exactly called, but I've been told it's like a battery power trailer, and that's exactly what it is. It's just a trailer that can hitch itself to Long Haul. It's not a solid connection, but the intention is there, and for this price, that's good enough for me, I guess. This thing makes up Devastator's upper legs and hips, and cleverly makes up for having to make Long Haul pull that duty. The two arms here double as missile pods and can be placed here on top. This looks so cool, and looks even better when you place the chest pieces around the rest of the trailer like this. Long Haul is finally earning his name. All the Constructicons look great together, and they feel even better. The plastic quality is really high and pretty consistent throughout the team, despite the separate releases. If you didn't know any better, you would think these all came together in a single release. The smaller size notwithstanding, I truly believe the high quality of materials used in these figures justify the higher prices, especially on the Voyager figures. So, without further ado, let's get to the main event. Getting these guys into Devastator is quite possibly one of the most fun and satisfying things I have ever done with a Transformers toy. Every member transforms slightly and snaps solidly into place. The torso is a perfect example of modern combiner engineering, as Hook and Long Haul connect at several places, with the front shield making the final connection of them and the arms. Even Devastator's head does a little transforming. At last, we have Devastator in all his glory. This guy is impressive and has a truly awesome presence. While the Combiner Wars version was huge, it felt kind of rickety and not really solid. Not this guy, oh no. This is probably the most solid combiner team I have ever held. Every joint, combiner port, and accessory stays in place no matter what you do with the figure. I couldn't do this with the Combiner Wars Devi. The details from the individual bots carry over here. The green is kind of bland, but I think it works for Devastator. It helps with the toon aesthetic, and there's enough purple and black coloring to give it some real depth. Now real quick, people complain about the backpack, but I honestly don't understand the criticism. It isn't that big, it doesn't hinder articulation in any way, plus it's screen accurate. Besides, it gives you the ability to do this. Swoosh. I've always found Devastator's head sculpt so funny. I mean, tell me he doesn't look like a child pouting because he didn't get his candy. Anyway, this head is perfectly done with the sculpt and the paint apps. Combiner Wars pretty much perfected the Devastator articulation scheme, but the solidity of the set takes it a little bit further. Head is on a rotation that can look side to side. You can use the transformation joints to kind of cheat looking up. Arms can move up, down, in and out. Bicep swivel. less than 90 elbows, wrist swivel, opening fingers, waist swivel, legs can go forward, back, in and out, 90 knees, and the real reason Scrapper and Mixmaster of Voyagers, heavy ratcheted ankle joints. The joints are tight and hold poses no problem, and while this isn't the most posable figure, it's still very impressive just how posable he is. I feel way better handling and posing this guy, and it's not a chore to pick him up and play with. While I know people are upset with the separate parts needed to form Devastator, this guy has always been a parts former combiner, and even the G1 needed the hips piece. This version just goes to show that parts forming combiners are probably the best way to go in order to get the most out of not only the combined form, but the individual bots as well. Scrapper's accessories combine the form Devi's gun, and while it looks good enough, it's way too loose in his hands and can only really stay in his left hand, even though it's still kind of a loose fit. All the individual bots' guns can store on Devi's back, with Scavenger's gun being in odd shape, so I like to put it here where it fits better. Even Longhaul's boom arm can be used as a weapon. Devastator is one of my favorite combiners, and the Combiner Wars version was so amazing for its time. The Studio Series and Hasbro's modern way of doing their lines really made this version leaps and bounds better than their previous attempt, and I'm so glad I was able to jump on this. All in all, this is by far the best version of Devastator that has ever been released, no question. Forget the naysayers saying that the figures are too small. They are the perfect size for the style, and the plastic feels truly premium and high quality. It's definitely worth the retail asking price. Bottom line, none of the individual bots are really worth getting alone, but if you intend to go all in with the entire team, then it is 100% worth your time and money. Just don't go crazy if you have to go through the aftermarket. Well, that was my look at Transformers Studio Series 86 Devastator. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all soon.
Laters!
Check out my Patreon for early access to my videos and shoutouts on future videos. Join up and let's talk toys.